Good afternoon. Welcome to 50 Years of Chess. I'm Robert Radford, and today's game is an opponent from the Clevedon Chess Club who I played back in 2011, which was 14 years ago now. How time passes. My opponent is David Peters. David is a nice guy. Played him many times. Quiet, studious sort of person. Does a lot of study on his chess openings. I played him many times, and almost every time he played something different. But on this particular occasion, I was white, and it's the first time in my life I come up against what is known as the hippo opening for black. So I'm going to show you what David did, and I think you'll like it. So here we go. David's rating was around 1788 at that time, and I was around 1855. And it was a match between, I believe, South Bristol and Clevedon, and Division 1 match down at Clevedon where they play, near the coast, right on the coast there. Here we go then, on the channel, Bristol channel. So, I began with e4. David played h6. Yeah, this is h6. This is the beginning of what is known as the hippo defence. I think he played it probably most of the season. I don't know how he got on with it, but be interesting to check that out. I think I'll have to do that. d4. d6. So I'm just making a grab for the centre. At this time, I thought that the h6 move was just to delay and see what I was going to do before he came into something more conventional. I mean, h6 could be played much later when bishop g5 attacks a knight. So it could be variation of an opening. So we'll see. I played knight f3. He played knight d7, bishop e3, bishop d3, e6, castle, bishop g7, c3. Now he's brought the other knight out onto e7, queen d2, so that if he should castle, I could attack the pawn and take the pawn on h6, so that stops him castling. Knight to f6, h3, bishop d7, and I brought the knight back to h2 so I could advance the f4 pawn, but he played bishop c6, and that leaves me with a bit of a dilemma. Do I play queen d2 to cover that pawn, or do I play f3? It's going to be leaving a bit of a hole, a white on g3, h4 and f4. I don't really like f3, but I played it just to make sure I stayed strong, all my pawns connected and everything together, but I wasn't really mad about that. I don't know, queen to c2 was probably best. So he played queen d7, b3. Now, is he going to castle queenside or is he going to castle kingside? This is the question. I'm waiting to find out. So he played g5 now. Interesting move. That's probably, yeah, I think he's going to plan to bring his two knights in to h5 and g6, which will give him a strong base to attack that f4 square and get an outpost, a knight on an outpost. So I played c4 as I advance in the centre, and just to frighten the bishop a bit, which caused David to play b6, knight c3, knight h5, rook c1, building up my attack now in the centre and following it up with the bishop behind the knight. Once pawns come off, there's going to be an open file somewhere and I want to be the first to be on it. Bishop back to b7. Then I brought the knight from c c3 to e2 to stop the knight coming into g3 or into f4. So he's now played e5. So I shut the white bishop, black's white squared bishop out of the game. There, he'd have to go back to c8 to be able to make anything. But here's what it is where things change a little bit, because now he's brought in that knight on g6, as I suggested earlier. This would be good for him, because if there was a swap off of the knights for my bishop and knight, he would be left with the g-pawn on the f4 square, and he'd have a half-open file to tap my king on the g1. So I played c5. I want to get a pawn off here. It's time to bust him open. The game's too close. I don't like it. So b4, another one. But he didn't take that. He cancelled because he's thinking, let him have it back. He's only getting his double pawn back. So I took. Now he needs to do something, because otherwise I'll play c6 and fork the queen and bishop. So he's moved his queen away to e7, and I pushed the pawn on to g4, attacking the knight. I shouldn't have done this. I realised it afterwards. I thought, what have I done? I'm going to possibly drop a pawn on h3 that I can't protect in a minute. So I've got to be careful here. He's come in, you see, and if I take the knight, he can take with the pawn, and the a1, h8 diagonal suddenly becomes open, which could be favourable to him, or he could take with the g-pawn, and I'm awfully cramped around my king, and he will have access to h4 with his queen. So I've got to be careful here. So I took the knight, he took, and I should have took the knight anyway here regardless, because it's far too dangerous. Otherwise I'm going to lose a pawn. I can't play king g2 to defend it. So I just didn't do it. I should have. c6, it's gone back to b8, c8 with his bishop. Now I went back to bishop b1, because he could take that bishop, which I shouldn't have worried about that much. Though, yeah, I could have, because if I'd have gone knight takes knight, I wouldn't have to worry about it at all. But I don't know. All I know is it's the game is not going how I planned, and I was trying to get an attack going, but he's countered it a little bit, and he can now play knight takes h3 if he wishes. But he's got a better move, which is bishop a6. And even if I play rook to e1 now, he can still take that pawn with a check. And I won't be able to stop him. If I play then king, he can take the knight. I take with the rook, and he can just go back with the knight again to f4. He would be a pawn up, but not winning as much, because there's only a pawn on the end of the board, which is not the biggest problem. But to my surprise, David offered me a draw at this point. He is known for drawing a lot of games, and I've had a lot of draws with him. We've won one game each and drawn several games. So there's no future in this game for me now because of what I did. I should have took that second knight off, and I'd have had a much freer game. I would have been open to a little bit of an attack, but my pieces would have been more freer. So if you look at it, I suppose his position, the knight and the bishop are very active, but the rest of the pieces aren't developed enough to be in a really strong position to attack me at the moment. Whereas my white bishop's out of the game just as much as what his black bishop is. Whereas this black bishop is very, very good. And my knight on h2 is rubbish. It's doing nothing. And it won't do nothing until I can get rook to e1, knight back to f1, and then into g3, where I can bring it into either h5 or f5, which would be great. But it takes some time. So I think I still had a good game. So yeah, I took the draw, and that's how the hippo was played. If you have a look earlier, just going back, I'll just show you the formation of the pawns at the stage where it's recognised as the hippo defence. You see the wave of pawns, how they go, and then with that one and that one, you can now see somehow it resembles a hippo. I can't see it myself, but if you look at the pawns, how they're all joined together and then the squares are on, it's supposed to be a picture of some kind of hippo. I believe it was first called that by William Parkston, I believe. The BBC Master Game. I'm not sure. I think it was him. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the game. I think I got some more against David. Hopefully I'll be able to find it and show you the game. Yeah, so we agreed a draw. I've got a photo of David. I'll show you it in a moment. So here's a picture of David Peters. He's the guy with the white shirt and the spectacles, second player up. The other one is David Painter-Kuhlman, who's a very strong player. Played him about 3 times as well. So that's David. He's playing black, and he's, I think, looking at the position on the board, that may have been a game against me. It looks like he's playing the same opening there. He's got his pawn on h6 and pawns on d6 and e6. So yeah, it's either me or someone else. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon then. Bye.